Once again, today we will be going over to Conservative Home, but we're not going to be going through the article because, to be honest, it's a bit of a long one. We're going to be summing up the article of from again our favorite T-boy over the Conservative Home, Will Atkinson, and sort of responding to some of the things that he says in this article. But I will say this for Will: I will at least give him credit because, first of all, he's saying, well, look, the Conservatives can no longer win the next general election, which, from what we've heard very recently, apparently a lot of even senior Conservatives don't even think they can win the next election and have started referring to it as a extinction level event. So an ELE is what is apparently being described as in a number of WhatsApp chats from discussed between senior Tories. So they are expecting the next general election to not be very good. And at least there is something in this that you can at least sort of respect Will Atkinson from doing this. Mildly acknowledging that the whole mess they're in, the whole reason that they are going to lose is because of Rishi Sunak. And then, of course, comes the rest of the article. I guess if you can see the title of the article here, it's the full title is, "If Sunak can no longer win the next election, he must use his premiership to be honest about Britain's economic decline." And here's the thing. Will doesn't seem to really acknowledge what really caused Britain's economic decline. We're going to be getting into that really in a moment. So before we do go diving into that, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and an notification called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help and support the channel that way. And of course, there is the YouTube thank you button as well down below. And of course, the Pony Club as well. And you can always help out the channel by clicking the like and share button. So, let's quickly summarize this article. So, as I said, that's the beginning. But what is his problem? What does he say in acknowledging and being honest about Britain's economic decline? Well, Will's solution for this is to not say that Britain needs really an economic plan, an industrial plan that involves the whole country, not just one region, or at least maybe even breaking the regions up so that maybe each region has a different economical plan based on sort of the different regional specialities that are there. This isn't new. This has been recommended by a lot of people for years. And of course, the Conservatives have decided not to listen because, as always, in order to do that, it would mean spending money in areas that, well, for people that aren't going to vote for them. But as we've always said, if you provide a reason for people to vote for you, then shockingly, maybe people will vote for you. Who knew that's how you played this game of politics? So he can't even seem to acknowledge that as a reason, and instead decides that what Sunak must really do is he has to double down on austerity, that he has to take Britain back into a massive system of austerity, and we have to start slashing the government, reducing the size of the government. And of course, as I said, I'm a regular watcher of Conservative Home, and for the past couple of weeks, they have been running constant articles which, regardless of what the topic of conversation about, the main thrust of them is we must reduce the size of the government. That is their main call and has been their main call of the article. So he is joining in on that ideological line that they are going into, that we must reduce the size of the government. And as we've said before, if you reduce the size of the government, then you are saying that the government should no longer do certain things. So, as always, when they make this call, they don't actually say what the government should no longer do. Of course, if you read the articles along with things like, well, the NHS and all these other things that we should, reduce the size of the government or the government should no longer be really involved in, you very quickly get the idea of where they're going. It's the usual free market fundamentalist line that we've seen for years coming from this government. And that's basically Will's answer to all this. That's how Rishi Sunak should be honest, to double down into austerity. But my response to certainly to Will is, first of all, this isn't just Rishi Sunak's fault. It's not even Liz Truss's fault, who, bear in mind, you do partially blame. So at least I'll give you credit for that. This really is a summation of 13 years of Tory failure. There is no one else to blame but the Tories. And especially after 2019, where they have a massive majority, where they could pass anything they, well, if Rishi Sunak could actually unite the party, same for Boris Johnson, when he united the party, could have passed anything pretty much they want to. And you may remember, as we said back in 2019, this will be a big downfall for the Tories because they are in control. There is no one else to blame but them. So it's 13 years of Tory economic catastrophes, failures, short-termism, no long-term planning whatsoever. Then, of course, you have to talk about austerity, because austerity was a big driver of many of these failures. And really, you can even see all the charts the second George Osborne kicks in really with austerity. Once all these budgets start to get cut, you start to see things get worse. And yet, Will wants Rishi Sunak to go back to that and double down on that. But even as many people and political people have consistently pointed out, from people in politics to economists to charities, austerity was a political choice. The UK did not have to do that back under David Cameron, and it does not have to do this under Rishi Sunak, because austerity is a political choice. Instead, Sunak could do what David Cameron didn't and could invest. Because there are a lot of other countries who did invest after the 2008 financial crisis, and they have had a better economic recovery than us. Not only that, but you have had Brexit. And Will doesn't even bring up Brexit. Instead, he brings up the fact that, we haven't really taken advantage of the Brexit benefits, of course, talking about deregulation, etc., etc. But Brexit has been a massive drag on us, and it will continue to be a massive drag on us. And until really conservatives can actually really talk honestly about the economic situation, part of that will be involved a conversation about the economic impacts of Brexit. Again, a main pillar of support in the party, but even they daren't do it because, as we've always said, they could not agree what Brexit was. Once they did Brexit, they can't agree what to do next. They just have no idea what they're doing, because it was ideologically driven that if you do Brexit, it's going to be this mighty success. Really hasn't been. The EU is still our biggest trading partner. And if we start to diverge, then guess what? We start to get bigger economic problems. And of course, even in the withdrawal agreement, it is written into it that the EU can do many things to punish us for that, as well as raising tariffs, which will again hurt our exports to the EU, who is our largest trading partner. Doesn't matter that we've done all these extra trade deals, because they are worth nothing when you compare them to the losses that we have suffered from leaving the single market and customs union. So if Sunak was to, quote, be honest or have a moment of honesty, maybe he should be signing more alignment deals with the EU, trying to do deals to reduce checks at the border. But he's not, because he can't be honest about it. And of course, if he were to do that, the Brexiteers would absolutely have a fit over it. let's be honest there. So that is really my response to sort of Will's article. That he blames bits on Liz Truss, bits on Rishi Sunak, but again, he can't blame the true problems of this, which has been 30 years of Tory economic failures and mismanagement and failure to invest in the UK, coupled with the devastating effects of austerity on the UK, the Brexit itself, which again has been a massive economic, which has led to massive economic decline in the UK because of Brexit. Shock horror. Liz Truss and her mini budget did a lot of damage, and now he's trying to encourage Rishi Sunak to go super hard into what I can only describe as super austerity. Yeah, even if Rishi Sunak did that, it's very unlikely he's going to sort of pull himself out of a hole. And if he really did go into this super austerity, well, it really would be, as many senior Tories are worrying about at the moment, a true extinction level event. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, as always, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, we'll see you all next time.